Hey guys, hey, thanks for stopping by, taking a look at this video here. This one's going to be on pressure switches for 80% efficient furnaces, and we'll get into 95% efficient furnaces later because those will have 2 or 3 or 4 pressure switches. But this one here is an 80%, and it's negative 0.65 inches of water column for the pressure. So that's what we want to see when we take a reading. So to test it, just close the door switch, energize, your inducer comes on, and your inducer will have to come on to do some of these tests. So we're going to go ahead and take a voltage reading. So set your meter to volts, and then we're going to read the wires on the switch, see if voltage is going to them and through and across them. So just put your lead to ground, the other one to one side of the switch, and you got the 27 volts. You go to the other side, and you'll have the 27 volts. So that means the switch is closed. Now if you read across the two wires, you'll get 0 volts because you can't take a reading off of the same wire. And I'm going to go ahead and simulate the pressure switch not working. Again, put your one lead to ground. You'll have to restart the furnace because that'll shut down when you disconnect that. So go ahead and start that inducer back up, one lead to ground, and then check across the switches again. So you got voltage going up to it, but you don't have anything coming out on the other side. As you can see, you don't have any voltage coming out because it's not closed. So that's another way to check, because you should have voltage going up to one side and both sides if it's closed. And as you can see, I hooked it back up, and now we got voltage across that other side. So we're going to go ahead and take another reading. This is going to be a resistance reading across it. So you'll set your meter to ohms, and we'll go ahead and take a resistance reading across that switch. If you have resistance across it, then that means the switch is closed. Just like this, so you got 0 ohms, so that means it's closed. If you have OL, just like that, that means it's open. Again, closed, you got 0 resistance. So that's a resistance way of reading that pressure switch. And if you're not getting those readings, and that hose, that orange hose, could be blocked. The port on the inducer that it plugs into could be clogged, and or the vent could be clogged. And now we're going to take a pressure reading. You're going to need what's called a manometer, and you can buy those off of Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, but it's a gas pressure tester, and you can also test your inches of water column on the air pressure there. So it's called a manometer, and we're going to want to get at least negative 0.65 inches of water column with that inducer running, because that's what that pressure switch is rated at, negative 0.65. And I apologize, but the screen is hard to see, but as I'm pulling away, it'll be like negative 1.3, negative 1.28, there we go, negative 1.3. So that's plenty of pressure to close that switch. So if you're not getting that, if you're not getting at least 0.65, then you have a blockage. So just take your wire, run it through that port, because that could be clogged. I ran into that so many times. Blow out the hose, make sure there's nothing in there. And then if it still, with those cleaned out, you may have a problem with the inducer motor. I pulled a bird out just the other day. You'll have to take that vent pipe apart and see if there's anything stuck up in there. But the reason for the pressure switch, it's a safety device. So if that inducer doesn't come on, nothing will happen. Or if the vent is blocked, then nothing will happen. You don't want to run a furnace with the blocked vent. So here we are, just putting our wires back on, and that's the vent that I said could be clogged. I mean, anything could come down there almost. I pulled squirrels out of there, to be honest. Birds, mice. So that'll probably about cover it on the 85% pressure switches. Just remember to take your voltage readings, resistance readings, check the hose, the port, and all that stuff. So guys, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you stopping by, taking a look. Like I said, I'll have other videos coming down the road. So take care. Thanks a lot.